Draymond used 3 words that, that you actually, in the middle word, you can probably say, but the first and the last, no.
Let's keep it out.
Let's keep it all out.
Let's just keep it all out.
And if you're going to say that to somebody, make sure you turn your shoulders away from them, and then it's okay. That's the part of it, Mark, that it's like, so you're going to do your podcast. Great. Do your podcast, but don't make it about like which way you are pointing that expletive. To me, that kind of misses the point of the whole thing. You got a T over nothing. It was a big nothing burger. Yes, bad call. Bad calls happen, Draymond. You know this. It happens all the time against you, and you got your T. Now walk away and live to fight and scream another day.
Well, he addressed this on his podcast, Draymond Green Show, via The Volume. This is on whether or not he felt he deserved the ejection.
Just can't happen. I said what I said. I deserved to get kicked out at that point. And what I said, if I'm all the way honest with y'all, I kind of was trying to turn my body and angle and go to the bench. And I said what I said, like a little too soon before angling my body to the bench. But yeah, it just can't happen. And like we need to win games. So not going to overreact like, oh man, like stuff is never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems. Like I know where I am. I understand what I'm doing moving forward, and in my position, just make sure that that's the exception and not the rule. And so, moving on, and like I said, shout out to my brothers for holding me down and getting that win. Need to go get a couple more wins.
Okay, I'm not going to overreact, and I understand, and I'm parroting what Draymond just said. He knows this. Draymond has made it abundantly clear he doesn't care what we think. Although he kind of does, or else he wouldn't have said what he said to Bonte. So he hears it, and yep, it like any other human being, it gets to him sometimes. But I guess what I'm saying is I know that Draymond doesn't care how this sounds, but let me be the not first to say it doesn't sound good. Nobody wants to hear you not overreact right now. I think a lot of people would like you to overreact, because words right now are not doing it. And so they would like your actions to change, number one. But number two, if you are going to go do a podcast after something like this, I don't think light and airy is the vibe you're going for. But that's what we got. I think people would love to hear some sort of falling on the sword in a really sincere way. And maybe that's not even good enough. Maybe any words won't work. But really sound sincere in saying, look, I can't do this. Because what happened last night, and I just want to explain this to everyone, at least from my perspective, why last night was such a big deal. This wasn't about disrespecting an opponent. It wasn't about disrespecting the league. It wasn't about a bad look on television.
Or disrespecting the officials.
This was about turning your back on your own team. And therefore, by extension, the fan base. That's how it felt. That's all I can tell you. 3 minutes in, with another star player out, you leave over what was probably the most avoidable ejection I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if you know this, Draymond. I don't know if you care. But that's what it felt like to us, and there's a lot of evidence that that's what it felt like to Steph.
Well, it's
that you just blew the whole damn thing off.
Not the shortest stint he's played this year. If you remember the Minnesota game,
unbelievable.
He choked Gobert at the 143 mark. Yeah. So I think we should take a moment to applaud Draymond for making it as long as he did and showing the restraint to actually play 3 minutes and 36 seconds in that ball game, Mark, because for Draymond, when he's hot, he can explode a lot quicker than that. And obviously I'm being tongue-in-cheek, but that isn't even his shortest stint of the year. And you lost to Minnesota, and you got the win last night. But I'm with you in lockstep as far as what it feels like. And as a fan, as a man who loves this team, and I've loved this team for a lot longer than Draymond Green's even been alive. Back to his early days in Saginaw, I was a fan of this team long before he was even a twinkle in anyone's eye. And I want to love this team, but he makes it hard. He makes it hard to love this team when you have him carrying on the way he carries on and getting suspended and getting ejected and using those words at a ref in a game that you need to win. And say what you will about Draymond Green, he's having a good year when he plays.
Yeah.
He's playing well. His 3-ball hasn't been this good in years. The defense is still solid. He helps you win, and that's what makes this all so maddening. And put aside the part about him basically giving a middle finger to the fans. He doesn't care what any fan thinks or what any media member thinks. He's going to do what he does. But the fact that he turned his back on his own team last night, that becomes even more offensive.
You should also listen to what Steve Kerr said about it. And Steve joined us earlier. And if you missed it, Odyssey app, YouTube, or hang out. We'll have it for you again in the 5 o'clock hour. This is something, and I've reached a point in my career. I'm going to turn 50 soon. I feel pretty secure with what I'm doing in life. But I still would never want my boss to say this about anything that I did.
Every game being so important, us fighting for everything, and then for Draymond to get kicked out 3 minutes in, it was really unforgivable, and Steph may have even been a little upset with himself for not pulling Draymond out of there, but I think mostly it was just, come on, man, we need this. And Steph is such a fighter. He's such a competitor. He wants it so badly. And I think all of that combined just led to that reaction.
I would never want my boss or my family members or anyone I loved or cared about to say my actions are, quote, unforgivable.
Right. And
that's a big word.
It's a huge word. And if it really is unforgivable, then we're going to get to a point where they're going to have to part ways. They're going to have to move off of him. Steve is here for, I think, 2 more years. Did he get a 2-year extension, Steve Kerr? And Draymond signed for 3 more.
3 more.
You got 2 more of Steph. So he said it's basically unforgivable. So if it's really unforgivable, then you figure out what you want to do. The problem is, since he's come back from his suspension, the team actually has played a lot better, and Draymond's been good.
Totally.
And this is where the Draymond Green quandary becomes ever more complicated because he is playing well and the team is winning when he plays. I think they're 27-20 this year when he plays, but he doesn't make himself available too often.
Let's go to Mike and Hayward. Mike, we'd love to take some calls, 888-957-9570. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Hey, you guys. I think you guys, that was a great show on Draymond. You know something? I'm a big Draymond Green fan. But you know something? Why has he got a question? Why has he got a question every call? I mean, everybody has to deal with the NBA officials, right? He's that guy, Doncic, and he cries about every call, right? Come on, really? Go get a rebound. Go set a screen. Go throw a pass, okay? But every call? I mean, I think that's the most frustrating thing I can say about him for me is that, okay, and I know he's got a great mind. And most of the time, he might be right about the call, but you're going to question every call?
Well, the thing about that, Mike, and Mike, thank you.
Mike, I am with you.
You may be with him. To me, it's not the issue. There are a bunch of players that question every call. But you don't. It's not that you question him. It's the way you question him.
Vociferous.
Well, you had all the opportunity in the world to leave. You got your frustrations out. He let you. Then move on. You can question every call, just not for 10 minutes. And with those words.
Yeah.
That's